Jesus is risen. Alleluia. Happy Easter, everybody. I'd like to share a quick reflection, starting with an excerpt from an ancient homily found on Holy Saturday. Something strange is happening. There is a great silence on earth today, a great silence and stillness. The whole earth keeps silence because the King is asleep. In search for our first parents, Jesus ordered Adam and Eve to awake. Rise. I did not create you to be held prisoner in hell. Rise from the dead, for I am the life of the dead. While Jesus was busy making the dead come to life, his disciples were left wondering if he was truly the man he claimed to be, bereft and grief-stricken that he had died on the cross. Take Mary Magdalene in the Gospel of John. Mary stood outside weeping outside the tomb, and she wept. She stooped to look into the tomb. She lamented, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." Even after Jesus promised and taught of his coming resurrection, it was hard to understand, to trust, and to have faith. The unknown is uncomfortable. It may be tempting for us to be overwhelmed, anxious, or without hope, wondering too, where is my Jesus? We may experience temptations in these unknown. However, it's important for us to remember Jesus is in our midst. He met Mary Magdalene at the tomb and asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" Does he not do the same for us? Does he not encounter us in our grief, in our struggles? By seeing Jesus risen, Mary Magdalene shared her experience with the disciples, proclaiming, "I have seen the Lord." Let's take another example. While on the road to Emmaus, some disciples were discussing the happenings of the past few days in Jerusalem, including the testimony of Mary Magdalene. They commented that they went to see the tomb, but they did not see what Mary Magdalene had seen. And it is in that testimony that they are sharing with someone on the road that Jesus says to them, "O foolish men, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory?" He continued to teach them, and finally, in the breaking and blessings of the bread, they recognized him. Perhaps we are like Mary Magdalene, crying, or we are in disbelief like some of the disciples in hearing of Jesus' resurrection. Or perhaps we feel dead like our first parents, Adam and Eve. Wherever we are, Jesus is telling us to rise. He's telling us he fulfills our promises. He's alive, and he has a plan for our lives. So what do we need to do? Rise, live in the present, trust in him. Jesus has a plan.